To see you.
Okay, so these are super popular books, and people
Yes.
are always going to compare the book to the movie. How do you think this stands out?
Well, for me, I think when you do movies based on books, and we talked about this with Harold as well as the rest of the cast, was that we just need to make a good movie. You know, I think sometimes people get so caught up in the books that they end up, you want to see a good movie. I think people who have read the books and people who have not read the books should be able to watch this movie and have a great time and see a really good movie. I think that's why, for me, it's like, that's why Harry Potter works, that's why Lord of the Rings works. If you haven't read those books, because the fans of the books are probably going to go see the movie. So hopefully they love it as much as the rest of us do, but the key for us was like, let's make a standalone movie that is based on these great books, but to make a good movie, just to make a good movie.
Yeah. We've seen so many movies that are based in the world of supernatural. What sets this one apart for you?
It's very personal. I mean, it's like it's not a. I think it doesn't rely so heavily on the supernatural stuff to sort of keep the movie driving along. It's not a very gimmicky movie. I think it's very solidly based. Lily and the characters and the acting is very heavily relied upon in this movie to keep the audience invested. So it's not so CGI driven to keep the audience invested. I think it was very heavily dependent on us sort of keeping things based in reality. So
how much training did you end up having to do for this?
Months. Yeah, we didn't really even stop once we were filming. We kind of would shoot, and then on lunch breaks we would go continue, because Harold, the director, wanted us to do our own fighting. So we once we heard that, we were there right away, training and working out and doing all the stuff that as a boy is like the kind of the best thing. Right, exactly. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to do a movie where I can run around and kill bad guys. So
and now you get to.
I totally did. Yeah.
So it was a lot of practical. We're going to see CG, of course, because we have to, but it is mostly practical, you think?
Not a lot of CG.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very practical. The locations they found, it's because it's set in New York. I think it's not one of those movies that you need to rely on all that stuff, and a lot of great makeup work, and a lot he tried to ground it as much as he could in reality, because it's not one of those movies that needs you to suspend a huge amount of belief to kind of get on board. So it's not a huge CGI movie.
How was it when you first saw yourself in character?
I found it hilarious, to be honest. Yeah, it's just you sort of imagine it's like, I've had friends who have screen tested for movies where they were playing superheroes, and it's like the second you put it on, you're sort of, it's still you, but you're like, I'm wearing like a cut-off leather jumpsuit. It's like, my first reaction was like, oh my god, how silly do I look in this? And then it kind of grew on me, and you realize that it really works, but out of context it's silly. You're sitting in your trailer with 8-inch heels on and 8-inch boots and leather pants and a.
But if you come back to one of these again, you're going to see yourself walking.
I know. I actually, as we were driving in, I saw some people walking down to the convention center wearing a lot of leather. She's actually wearing leather today too.
I know.
I know. It's impressive.